Hi, Richard.
Hey, how are you?
Well, after watching King Knight, I am so happy to be speaking with you.
Huh, wonderful. All right.
I am in love with this film. It is deadpan hilarity. It is so much fun. I busted a gut watching this. Your cast.
You have made my entire day, and I sincerely mean that.
Richard, number one, the script, the dialogue, it's sharp, it's rapier, but then you cast this so impeccably well that you get this deadpan delivery, especially from Angela, who I have just adored her work for decades. And
She is just as nice a person as she is a great actress.
I just
Really cool.
but to hear and the calm, this whole coven idea, the Wiccan idea of calm, so everything is very calm except for the biting dialogue, and that juxtaposition is delicious, Richard.
Well, thank you so much. That was the cool thing about when you make a movie this size is I didn't have to sort of cross-check any of my casting decisions by anyone. So, and I actually negotiated the. I was the casting director. I mean, I drew up the contracts and negotiated with the agents myself too. Actually, just to make sure and get everyone I wanted who would understand, that this movie doesn't work unless the most ridiculous line is played completely straight.
Well, and of course, you picked this whole reunion idea, this duality of personality, past, present, and societal acceptance. And that right there gives you so much fuel for fodder that you could throw almost anything in there as a straight line and it's going to come out hilarious. And that's exactly what happens. When
you have made my day.
it's like I'm hearing, here's Angela, and she's straight faced and very calm. And you wore a Nautica shirt? A Nautica shirt? And then somebody else pipes in, and cargo pants. And the incredulous nature of delivery, it is fantastic. I can't.
That's all the cast. I mean, they're all great.
Where did the idea for King Knight even arise? Because it's a quirky idea and it's out of the norm, so it's fresh and it's funny. But where did the seed for this arise, Richard?
Well, let's see. I wanted to after my last movie. I knew I wanted to get together with friends and kind of just have fun again, in the sense that, if we were in sort of control of the situation, we could make it feel like maybe it did, when you're in high school and you're making a movie in your parents' backyard and stuff. So it was kind of, every now and again you have to remind yourself sort of why you fell in love with this in the first place. And so in my mind, I had a few people talking to me about doing a horror film about witches, and I have a library of books about witchcraft and all that stuff because I've always been very fascinated. But the people that I talk to and the friends I have who do practice are just all so sweet and understanding and kind. And I realized that, if I was going to make a movie about witches, they were going to be the heroes. And so it sort of took off from there. And then I guess with everything going on, all the political turmoil and all that stuff, it takes place in the same kind of like heightened reality. I mean, it's very farcical like my other movies, but I couldn't. The difference is I couldn't take a cynical approach to them. I was kind of thinking, like, what movies make me happy, and I think about, honestly, I really like the 90s John Waters movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love Pecker, for instance. Like, I've seen that movie 1,000 times, and, it's like, it's provocative and it's silly, but it's also, like, so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was the thing, was sort of approaching, writing all these characters, like, loving them, I guess.
Well, so many people, when they think of witch movies, or when filmmakers go and it's, okay, I'm going to do a horror film, I'm going to do a film about witches, they go for the dark magic side. They go for...
They want to get it financed.
Yeah, they go for the Margaret Hamilton Wicked Witch of the West idea. But it's not often we see the beauty and the calm of Wiccan. Of Wiccan practitioners. And this is what you give us: the healing arts, communing with nature, being in the yard, and not having bonfires, but just having a candle lit.
Right.
I mean, it's really...
Look, I have a lot of family from the South and in Mississippi and whatnot, and wonderful people, but they would not necessarily, like, the whole notion of witchcraft, right, is sort of evil to them. So the idea was that if I were to make a movie like this and kind of treat them like if anyone would treat anyone in, like, a fun, zany comedy, it would hopefully show that, they're really not different, that not so different than anyone. They're just human beings searching for the same answers to the same question.
Yeah. And then you add in these quirky elements like the talking pine cone and the talking rock. And there again, it ties into communing with nature. And how many times kids, they have inanimate objects, sticks and rocks and pine cones, and they'll talk to them and imagine they're talking to them. This has such a great flow to it, Richard, and you carry that through with your visuals. I have to commend what you and your DP, what Shaheen Seth did with this. You've got some beautiful...
Shaheen is amazing.
Oh my God.
Shaheen even picked out lenses that had earth matter in them because he thought they were the right Wiccan lenses. I mean, and we had to really seek these lenses out. You know what I mean? Like, Shaheen was all about it. Truly one of the nicest humans I've ever met in my life.
Shaheen, working with your production designer, with Lee Poindexter, and then your set decorations, you look at the distinctions. You have the house. That house is gorgeous. I love that house. And it's rich, and it's warm, and it's intimate. And at nighttime, you've got candlelight. You have some firelight. You have fairy lights out there. The reunion segment, it's just what you would expect in a gymnasium with, 1970s almost disco kind of lighting. You've got your dream state happening with the character of Merlin. And of course, with Barbara's character, Barbara is hilarious as Ruth. Yeah. And the red and purple and the screaming and the what you do by having her doing a Zoom or a FaceTime call with Matthew's character of Thor, and she gets right there so close up that it distorts her whole face and her mouth as she's yelling and being sarcastic to her son.
Oh, that's so fun that you mentioned that, because we did have a lot of fun with that, leaning in as close as possible to the lens.
That works so well, and everybody can relate to an in-your-face mother like that. So
I think it was like we were like, imagine if Terry Gilliam was shooting a Skype session.
Yes, that's a very good analogy, Richard. That's a very good analogy. But your pacing, I am really impressed with the pacing of this film, because you and your editor, Britt DeLille, you hold these deadpan one-liners just enough. You don't let them drone on. You hold it, and then you might cut to a reaction shot, especially when we're dealing with Percival, who always has great reactions to things. The pacing works so well. Nothing feels rushed. Nothing feels hurried, but nothing feels too drawn out.
Well, that's great to hear. Yeah, Britt's been my actually assistant editor on previous films, and this was a opportunity for her to. It's actually the first feature she's ever cut. and she was amazing. And it's interesting finding the right balance, right? Because comedy's cut very quickly nowadays. And so we had to strike that balance of, but we are not cutting it like it's a comedy, but it still, it has to be funny. And so we really tried to find the sweet spot, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you didn't. This is not cut like a typical comedy, and and I think that really helps. And I think that really helps elevate the film as a whole, because it's not, because people are so used to that quick. And even reaction shots that get put in, so often they feel gratuitous. Here, because of what Shaheen does with what you guys do with the blocking, and the fact that you spend a lot of time with that blocking to get your a mid two shot, or just wide enough to have everybody on the couch in the living room, so that the group is there, it's warm, it's intimate, it doesn't feel claustrophobic, but you get to see everybody at the same time. So you're not doing this constant cut back and forth. And that really fuels this whole idea of community and friendship that the Wicca is, that's one of its tenets. So it just, it works. Just every little element, Richard. I am just beyond thrilled with this film.
Well, I am beyond thrilled that you enjoyed it so much. I mean, I truly, like, the goal of a movie like this is like just to hopefully, not only bring myself joy, but hopefully bring some other people joy. So, I mean, you couldn't say anything that would make me feel any better, quite frankly, than what you said. I'm so grateful.
I'm curious, with your structure, with your story structure, you essentially chapterize this with tarot cards. Did you write that into the script? Did you bring that in?
Was in the script.
That's a lovely, lovely touch. And you do it with very significant cards that are laid out. And the scene that follows then really fits those cards. Those transitions.
I did think that Lee found some particularly cool cards. So
oh my God!
All kinds of brands and stuff, and this was made by an artist in Joshua Tree. These cards.
I've never seen any tarot cards like that. I've never seen any designs like that. And if any cards are going to have really cool designs, it is tarot. But I've never seen any like this, and it just fits. It feels modern, yet it feels timeless. And then with the multicolored candles laying there, it's picking up on the colors in the cards. Just really lovely transitions, rather than doing, a cut to black or something like that. Which there again, that would give you a hard edge that goes totally against the softness that you have. How long was this whole process for you, Richard? Did you do this during COVID, after COVID? Did you have to do your posts during lockdown? I'm curious how that worked out for you.
So we did post during lockdown. We actually cut the movie in my garage. The post-production facility was the garage, and until then we'd been laying it out, but we would have to work on the weekends. At first, it was the weekends, and then Britt was able to come in every day, and it was just it was a lot of fun, I gotta tell you. It felt like film school again, kind of, it was just great.
How difficult was it for you to put together this cast? Because for this film and these characters, this is a dream cast. And, Matthew he's always wonderful in everything he does. And he and Angela are paired so perfectly. And you've got Nelson Franklin and Emily Chang paired perfectly. And Kate and Andy. Then you've got a dark horse come in who surprises the heck out of everybody with Swati and her character of Alexandra. And then you get the gravitas of Barbara and Ray.
Yeah. Yeah. So Goops has been, a great friend for many years. So this is the fourth movie I've done with him. And he signed on. I mean, he was down sight unseen. I just called him. I said, "Look, I wrote this thing. I want to make it, and we're gonna have a hell of a lot of fun." He's like, "Let's do it." And then Nelson went to school with me. So Nelson's in all my student films from back in college. And Ray is just like the most loyal dude ever. Ray's been in a handful of my movies, and I called Ray and I said, "Ray, who on earth wouldn't want to see you as Merlin?" And he completely seriously said, "You know something, Rick? I'd like to see that myself." And then Barbara was just a dream come true. That was a shot in the dark. I'd never met her before, and I called her and asked, and she was totally down. And she was just lovely. And Swati, actually, I've seen some of her work, and she's the wife of a friend of mine from school as well. So I reached out and inquired about that. And Josh Betamax, so we were going through a bunch of actors. I couldn't quite find the right Willow, and he threw out Angela as an option, and I immediately I emailed her and I called her, and she was down. I mean, it was just a lot of fun.
Oh, just on every level, this is so well done. I'm definitely going to watch it again. I can tell you that. The devil is in the details, and you have so many perfect details in here. Thanks to your set decorator, thanks to Grace, thanks to Lee. Just really fabulous. Plus,
Lee's unbelievable. Lee did my last two movies, so she's the best.
Richard, one last question about the excitement of having the world premiere at Fantasia Fest next week.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm absolutely thrilled. So our movie Suburban premiered there, Suburban Gothic, years ago, and they've actually played every single one of my movies, and it's always the most enthusiastic, best audience ever, anywhere. I mean, you don't pack like gigantic theaters for strange movies a lot of the time, but there, everyone, the people are excited, and they come in droves, and they're all nice.
That's the shocker.
That's the shocker.
Oh, Richard, thank you. This has been wonderful getting to talk to you about King Knight. I can't wait to hear how it's received by the fans once they get to see it.
I am so grateful for everything you said. You truly made my day. Like, I want to tell my wife right now about this stuff.
I can't wait to see your next film and talk to you again.
Thank you so much.